Everybody loves a great underdog story. You know, the broke kid who struggles, grinds, and eventually rises to the top to claim his moment of glory. Yeah, forget all that. Today we're talking about main characters who don't need training arcs, rival battles, or years of sweat and blood. These guys could just wipe out armies, slay dragons, and crush demon lords without even trying. Their secret? Pure dumb luck. And honestly, that's what makes watching them so damn fun. So without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the top 10 anime with the most overpowered main characters. Kicking off our list is Isekai Cheat Magician. Two high school students get transported and immediately break the world. That's the basic premise of the show. So here, Taichi becomes a physical powerhouse with explosive magic, while Rin becomes a spellcasting prodigy with elemental mastery. They don't train, they don't struggle, they're handed cheat skills and dropped into hero roles by episode 2. On paper, they're absurdly powerful. Taichi casually wins fights that wipe out entire armies. He counters ancient monsters with one spell and tanks hits like a raid boss. But the execution was exceptionally boring. Their strength is never used creatively, and the battles lack weight because there's just no risk. The show plays it too safe. This is what happens when the term OP is treated like a checkbox instead of a payoff. No real world building, no major character growth, no tension. It's all set up, no payoff. They're strong, but in the most uninteresting way possible. Like if you gave Kirito a power boost and then made him babysit a JRPG story no one asked for. But if you're still interested, give it a shot. It wasn't the best experience for me, but you might just enjoy it. Moving on to number 9, we have the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. Demon Lord is a child's body. What's the worst that could happen? Well, it looks like that dude is still 100% lethal, so the main character was essentially the final boss in his previous life, and he still fights like it. Age regression doesn't nerf him one bit. In a world that's forgotten real magic, he shows up casting death spells like it's day one. Swords bounce off him, monsters fall in one hit, other characters train for years to reach levels he yawns through in 5 seconds. He builds a party of powerful, waifus, mostly by showing up, flexing, and making everyone else look like they've never held a sword before. There's no build-up, he's top tier from the jump, and the show uses that as an excuse to throw increasingly ridiculous enemies at him, none of which matter. And I know a lot of you folks love this show, but for me, I thought the plot was just kinda generic. The world is undercooked, and I'm basically tired of the school setting, and most fights are just morning exercises for the main character. But for folks who dig that kind of stuff, give it a shot. At number 8, let's talk about Ugly Mug Epic Fighter. Now here's an offer. You'll get overpowered abilities, but will lose your looks. Will you take it? Well, the main character of this show didn't think twice. The protagonist, a disgraced ex-salesman, chooses to remain extremely ugly upon reincarnation, and the trade-off is just absurd. Absolute god status with cheat-level stats. He's basically a demolition squad in human form. He steamrolls enemies and dungeons as though they're paper, and every scene hinges on the irony. He's the most powerful being around and nobody wants to touch him. The ugly status even causes him pain when touched by a woman. A hilariously but painful limiting side effect. It isn't anything mind-bending or groundbreaking, it's just a genuinely fun time. So be sure to watch this one. Then at number 7, we have Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. Now the main character here doesn't travel the shonen path of hardship and trials and becomes overpowered. He starts from that point. The guy opens his eyes in another world and nukes a desert full of lizardmen with a single spell. His level shoots past 300 instantly, and by the time he meets his first actual threat, he's already out-leveled the entire cast. He's got infinite cash, perfect skills, a god-tier map, and every magic spell known to man, cause why the hell not? It's not even funny how broken he is. He treats boss fights like a minor inconvenience, and solves every problem. Monsters, politics, even social cues, with ease. The power fantasy here is full blast, but the tone is super relaxed. The main character doesn't want to conquer or dominate, he just wants to sightsee, cook good food, and vibe with his rapidly growing harem. It's low stakes god mode, and depending on your taste, that's either comfort food or completely boring. And the critique is obvious, zero challenge, cause the main character never struggles. If you didn't like solo leveling, you're definitely not gonna like this. But if you do click with power fantasies, give this one a shot. After that, at number 6, we have Beast Tamer. This guy is the classic gets kicked from the hero's party and turns out to be broken case. But this time, it's beast taming. At first glance, he seems weak, but the second he tames a cat spirit girl, don't ask me why, if you're that curious, go ask the damn pervy author, okay? And when that happens, the truth comes out. The main character's power isn't just taming, it's absorbing every skill his partners have. He's basically a whole adventure party in one person. He doesn't just tame strong beasts, he becomes stronger with each one. By episode 3, he's tankier than the tank and faster than the rogue. The more allies he makes, the more overpowered he becomes. The show itself is safe with no real stakes, no deep twists, but if you're here for the fantasy of the underestimated underdog quietly becoming unstoppable, Beast Tamer scratches that itch quite nicely. And at number 5, we have Black Summoner. Now the powers of this guy are just ridiculous, okay? He literally trades his memories for bonus stats before he even opens his eyes on the new world. And 5 minutes in, he's already contracted with an S-rank demon girl who could solo most anime casts. From there, he just keeps stacking. He's a summoner, but unlike the usual glass cannon support class, the dude also tanks, slices, nukes, and power levels like he's speedrunning the game. He builds a monster party full of elite beasts and demons, each one worthy of their own boss fight, then proceeds to solo entire dungeons just for fun. He even beats heroes and legends without breaking a sweat, and loves every second of it. And unlike all the other trash heads, he's not shy about his power. He enjoys it. He actively looks for stronger enemies just to feel the thrill. He's cocky but not annoying, confident but still strategic. That balances make him more fun to watch than a lot of emotionless, overpowered protagonists. But here's the issue. The animation is bland as hell. And no, I'm not asking for Lord of Mysteries or Attack on Titan level animation, I just need the bare minimum, okay? Something other than a PowerPoint slideshow. Just for the fights to be a little bit interesting. But the animation fails to do that as well. Some big moments feel undercooked and the world building is way too generic. It almost feels like the director watched 10 other Isekai shows and blended them all together. But if all you want is a protagonist who smiles while dismantling dragons and champions, Black Summoner delivers. Then at number 4, we have Knights and Magic. So this is about knights and magic. Didn't see that coming, did you? Anyways, the main character of this show is a mecha otaku programmer who is obviously isekai'd into a magical fantasy world and immediately speedruns genius-level mecha building before puberty. This kid doesn't just pilot magic robots, he redesigns them from scratch, invents new models, and revolutionizes the battlefield like a walking arms race. Everyone else in the kingdom is still trying to figure out the manual, but this guy, he's dropping double-armed, jet-boosted death machines with AI upgrades. He wipes out waves of enemies solo, battles multiple magic beasts without breaking a sweat, and then casually unveils the next version of his mech like it's a new iPhone. What makes him so overpowered isn't just the tech or the combat skill, it's that his brain is 10 steps ahead of the entire military-industrial complex itself. He isn't just strong, he reshapes the world. And that's exactly the problem this anime suffers from. The story around him is paper thin. The supporting characters are mostly cheerleaders because they never need to do a damn thing. The antagonists never feel threatening and the pacing is way too abrupt. But you're not watching this for the plot, you're here to see a tiny genius hijack a fantasy world and flex Gundam-sized dominance. After that, at the third spot, we have Skeleton Knight in Another World. So the main character here is basically a walking glitch, okay? Imagine if Ainz from Overlord had a moral compass and decided to play Knight instead of Overlord. He spawns in this new world with endgame stats, a full skill tree unlocked, and divine tier gear. Nothing touches him. He cleaves through bandits like paper and casually erases monsters with a flick of his wrist. And of course, this guy acts like the typical edgy main character who doesn't seem to care about anything. He's not trying to be a hero, but everything he does ends up being a heroic flex. Rescuing elves? Check. Slaying monsters in a single slash? Check. Accidentally building a legendary reputation while just trying to mind his own undead business? Triple check. The show has no illusions about what it is. It's a power fantasy with some comedy and light world building. There's no real tension because that's how overpowered the main character just is. He's basically untouchable. At times, that hurts the stakes. You know he'll win every fight, so the only curiosity is how stylishly he'll do it. But still a pretty satisfying power fantasy. Then at the runners-up spot of today's list, we have the Water Magician. Now this is the latest entry on the list, and definitely the freshest one as well. So here the main character's power isn't instant, it's earned and relentless. He starts off modest, mastering water magic at its own pace, with the rare trait of eternal youth. 20 years of survival training turn him into the strongest water magician in history. By episode 1, he's already slaying dragons and outwitting assassin hawks. But It's the slow burn of power that sells it. He survives harsh wilderness, evolves his magic quietly, and becomes legendary without flashy speed-ups. Think Dr. Stone meets Mushoku Tensei's gradual ascent. But with waterbending, the world feels vast and the story feels fresh. And I'm so glad that even with bug guns like Lord of the Mysteries, Dandadan, and Gachiakuta, this show still got some appreciation. So by any chance you have been sleeping on this show, what's wrong with you? Check it out. But at the top spot of today's list, we have The Dungeon of Black Company. Here the dude doesn't break the world with swords or spells, he breaks it with pure hustle. Thrown from Earth into a fantasy world where he's forced to work in a brutal mining corporation, bro doesn't get cheat skills, magic, or strength boosts. What he gets is grind set, brain rot, and god-tier manipulation tactics. At first glance, he's the weakest guy in the dungeon, but episode by episode, this guy scams, bullies, and power plays his way to the top. He blackmails demons, reverse engineers labor systems, and turns fantasy capitalism into a blood sport. So, is he OP in the usual anime sense? Not even close, but in terms of influence, he becomes a monster. He doesn't win with magic, he wins by turning everyone else into his weapon. Now, the only thing keeping him from full world domination is how often his own ambition blows up in his face. So if you're in the mood for watching a unique guy doing some unique stuff, well, this one's for you. And that's the list for today, guys. If you made it this far, please be sure to comment down below on which anime you think should have been on this list, or which one you are going to watch next. Also, if you've been here a while but haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Become part of the fam and subscribe to the channel already. And also, pressing that bell icon, it set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. Also, don't forget to like the video. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.